Some of y'all say you're going to go flip burgers and make more money than driving a truck. Well, here's your chance. We'll talk about it right after this. Good morning. Yeah, check 1, 2. Good morning. How's it going? Yes, the title. Oh, better turn this down like an idiot. There we go. The title of this video has a purpose, has an intention, and CDN's all worried about it. Hey, CDN, today would be a good day to have a conversation. Yesterday was kind of weird. Getting a truck to Phoenix is more difficult than I thought it would be. Not because I don't go out there, right? I don't send trucks out there. But we got a guy that lives out there and needs to go back to his home. And man, you would think that it wouldn't be so challenging. So, and I'll give you an example. Out of Ohio, Columbus area, Ohio, there was 1,800 loads, and only 4 or 5 were going to Phoenix. It's like, dang. So you have to 2-step it when that happens. I knew that there was stuff coming out of Southwest Missouri and going to Arizona, and I scored one of those, and then I scored the other load. So, all right. Well, no, that's not true. I knew I would score. There was a couple I was floating on, and by floating, I mean I was lurking, looking at it like, hopefully it's still there. But anyways, I know the title has got people kind of. It's going to get interesting, right? So we'll let some more people get in here, and then we'll spout off the comments, and then we'll talk about what I'm going to talk about with this whole burger flipping thing. And but don't worry about the vibe, CDN. You'll be all right. It'd be all right. I think you're going to be like, oh, okay. So let's see. Let me fix this. Don't want all my information out there. We'll get that ready. And then that should do it. Actually, let's do this here. Let's download this. Then we'll just open it up in the app. So, anyways, good morning. I hope all is well. It's Wednesday, December 13th. Wednesday the 13th. Nothing scary about that. Okay, sorry. Cool. Okay, we got it. We're good. All right. Let's do some comments, and then we'll get to what I was talking about. Right? Okay. My name is Nobody. Good morning. Good talking to you last night. Hope all is well. Hope you have a good day today. Flatbed trucker. Good morning. Southbound pachyderm. Sup. A trucker named Tim. Good morning, Mr. Snorelord in chat. I hope you all have a blessed and profitable day. Well, thank you. I don't know if I'll have a profitable day, but I'm going to help other people try. So CDN is worried about the vibes, but he's interested to hear more. So I'm sure he'll have some input. Russell Freight Services LLC. Hey everyone. Randy Curry. Good morning from Denver. It is cold. How cold is it, Randy? I almost texted you just to give you crap. Is it cold? Are you chilly? Tim says you're supposed to eat burgers, not flip burgers. You're making me hungry. LOL. TC Bog. Burgers. Gen Z, good morning. 309 a gallon mud flap. Safe for tonight. Indiana, too. Yes. Fuel is going down. So enjoy that while we got it. That was one prediction that I had that I was wrong. And I'm so glad because it's going to give some relief to some of you. So. Scorpion Trucker, good morning, Snorelord and everyone. Great intro music. Thank you for the work getting me back home. Rig Runner, thank you very much. This Trucking Life with the Horns, hello. What is up? I think I was accidentally sent the customer rate con from the broker I did a short load from. They only paid me $48 less than what they got paid, if that was accurate. That can happen. Like in our TMS system, it would be very easy to have. But see, there's the thing, though. Are there brokers getting 40, 50% on loads? Yes. But there's also loads that they're doing that they might only get 5% or 10%, or they're breaking even. It's just like in your world where, if your cost per day is $500 a day and you might do a load where it was $400 for the day, but then the next load was $800 a day, it's the same thing. If your cost per day is $500 and you're doing loads for $1,000 a piece every day, guess what? You're making a huge profit, right? Supposedly. Yet, but then there's going to be days where you miss because, Freightliner kept your truck too long, or, that traffic jam caused you to be late. So you lost 3 days because they wouldn't reschedule till later. That's where that profit comes in. Well, brokers work the same way. There are loads that they lose money on. There are loads that they wipe the floor clean with. So just, it's just like anything else, CB says, I don't care if I have to drink pond water and eat grass. I'm still trucking. There you go. I can share it with you, boss, if you wish, but don't make it public. Okay, will do. Scorpion Trucker brewing up some coffee from somewhere near Oklahoma City, heading west. You need to be careful because once you get into Amarillo, and then into New Mexico, you're going to start having some issues weather-wise. So, pedal to the metal. Today makes 1 year since I picked up my new truck. It's been a great year. Expecting many more. Very good. Very good. I'm glad the truck is holding up well. Monday, I headed 180 miles from Fort Worth to Abilene to get a load home. Yeah, volumes have been kind of weird, man. It's and out of those 1,800 loads, of course, that's going to only show you 500 of them. But out of the 500, they were all going northeast, southeast, or California. Or Oregon, all the places that nobody seems to want to go. If you want to just run the Midwest, we can say that all. Run the Midwest, you'll be okay. Well, guess what? When 90% of loads on the low boards don't go to the Midwest, what do you do? Or don't stay in the Midwest, what do you do, right? This Trucking Life, been married 9 years today, 12, 13, 14. Nice. Good deal, man. Congratulations to you and your wife. So, did you ever drive for Schneider? I started my career with them. I went to Schneider School December 2000, did my year to pay off school, and got out. I was a Schneider IC for 2 years. I had my own truck over there, so I wasn't paying those ungodly high lease purchase prices. And I had a good time over there. The only reason why I left because Jeffrey left and started his own authority. He and I were good friends. He's the one that convinced me to come to Schneider, and I decided to enter the spot market world. And knowing the fluctuations, knowing the volatility, but no, I did 2 years as an IC. I did pretty good over there. I was able to trade in my old truck and get a newer truck, the one that's behind me there, and I made excellent money. It didn't have to work that hard. Drop and hook, 90% of the freight I was doing was drop and hook, and I had a good time over there. If things changed, like they stopped paying for tolls and you had to have a collision mitigation, once they went public, a lot of changes, a lot of benefits went away. But if things were exactly the same as they were when I started there, if they were exactly the same now and I had to go back and do it, I would do it. So there's my 2 cents on Schneider. Randy says, I'm in a heat wave, 28 degrees up from 22. It was that cold yesterday for us too. So Jose, good morning. Any comments on James Best's recent rant about you? Ryan Peterson, yes. I'll comment on that. I'll entertain that. So here's the thing. James is hurting. He's in a bunch of pain. You could see that with the amount of drinking. Okay. And I've reached out to him several times. He apologizes to me on the phone, in text messages every time he rants. And he is basing his opinion on my dispatching skills of how I was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I had trouble dispatching myself. But I did this thing and I learned. I pay attention, and I fulfilled the driver's needs when it comes to dispatching. And I've been able to adapt to several different situations. So there was a time where me and his best friend Harold, we approached him because his drinking had gotten pretty bad. And he said he's fine. So, I mean, somebody has to have their own aha moment. And he's pushed all of his good friends away. So there it is. So, and I talked about that on Friday's live feed. I talked about, the grips of alcoholism, because I've had family members deal with that. I've had my neighbor killed himself because of that. I know several drivers that have lost their careers because of that. And it's tough to watch someone spiral down like that. So there you go. He already handled that, right? So prayers out to Mr. Best. So getting ready to get some 291 gallon fuel. I'll take it. There you go. Why does it matter what the broker makes if you haul cheap? Because if you don't know your cost, then flip burgers. We're going to get to the burger comment here in a minute. Percentage can be misleading if you're talking small dollar amounts. You find a broker paying a carrier $1,500 and billing customer $3,000, right? Gary Cook, good morning. Gen Z Trucking yesterday rolled over 100,000 miles since becoming owner op. Good deal, man. Hope you're doing well. Stuart, good morning. Good morning, Snorelord and crew. Getting ready for a doctor visit because I abused myself with poor diet choices instead of drugs. Well, hey, did you like that thing I sent you yesterday? I hope that helps. James G, good morning. Ryan says you didn't know then what you know now. Exactly. Like, I learned. And, and look, when I first entered the spot market, I fell back to old habits that I had at Landstar. And it was frustrating for people watching me. It was frustrating for Jeff. And now Jeff and Gear Grabber kicked in and said, hey, we noticed you got a logo in the Florida. Are you falling into Landstar habits? I'm like, yeah. And so they tried to coach me on how to dispatch better. And, and I learned, I'll give James Best a compliment. I learned a little bit from him. I learned how aggressive he was on looking at where he was going before he booked where he was going. And then Harold Huffman, who used to have a YouTube channel, and the three of us were always on the phone. The three of us, I mean, there's old videos of us all hanging out and having a good time at truck shows. And Harold taught me a lot. And Harold helped dispatch me for a while. And then once I kind of got the groove of what to look at and learned from my mentors, then I got better. And then when the rates are really good, I just kind of did what I wanted. And it was easy because I like going down 70. I like I-70. And I would go from, my running range was from Dallas to Columbus. Every now and then I'd flirt with the Atlanta market. On occasion, I would go up to Michigan. Didn't go to Wisconsin a whole lot, which, looking back, probably was a mistake because Wisconsin had good freight coming out. But for the most part, I stayed in a certain lane. I stayed in a certain area, and I worked a little bit harder and I worked a little bit smarter. I said something the other day that's resonating with people. Work hard, gets you paid. Work smarter, gets you paid more. And I just started to work smarter. And it not rescued, but it improved my business. And, and I learned from these people, and so yeah, that was his impression of my dispatch 6 years ago. So, I mean, and that's, I don't blame him. I really don't, Sage says, "Hey, Stuart, just send it to your rig runner address. Don't show it public, but I have no problem with you talking about it." That might be Friday's discussion. Ryan says, "Highly recommend stay away from Kroger loads. They'll keep you at the dock way too long." I highly recommend that as well. You got to know your customers, right? So, speaking of, well, it's not really a good segue, but let's do this here. I'm going to share the screen here. So, it says here, McDonald's $500 hiring bonus. Okay. Now, a friend of mine sent me this. I don't know if it was, I don't know if he got it off Facebook or something he saw personally, but he sent me this picture. And here's the thing. So how many times have you guys heard someone go, "Man, I could flip burgers and make more money than I'm making now as an owner-operator"? How many times have you guys heard that? How many times have you heard, "Well, I can flip burgers and be home every night for this amount of money"? And you might have been a person that even said it, okay? Here's my opinion on that, okay? Number one, I think 90% of the people in this chat, people that will watch this video, which, they average about 400 views on the replays, probably wouldn't last 10 minutes at a McDonald's. Now, I've never worked for McDonald's, but I have relatives that have and do. And if you've never worked in a restaurant conditions, then you really don't have any idea. You're dealing with angry people addicted to fast food all the time. If things aren't perfect for the franchise or things aren't perfect for the customer, it becomes a stress. And you're being told what to do. So these people are like, "I'm going to go flip burgers." Okay, so here's the alarm that should be going off. If your business does not pay you more than what a fast food minimum wage restaurant worker makes, now not the executive at McDonald's, the store owner, the store manager probably makes more than you. But the guy flipping the burgers, if you're not making more than that person, you are doing something wrong. It's either your costs are too high, you're not working smarter, you're dispatching like I did 6 years ago. you know, you are doing something wrong. And so stop using this for an analogy, because guess what? McDonald's is hiring and they're offering $500 hiring bonuses. So put up or shut up. If it's time to leave, leave. But I guarantee you that if you leave being an owner operator, you're not going to be at McDonald's flipping burgers. You might try it, but you're going to be like, in 10 minutes, you're going to be like, yeah, this sucks. Now, I'm not knocking McDonald's and their poison food. I'm not knocking people that work for McDonald's. I appreciate them because McDonald's does have good coffee. And I'm always respectful to people that make my food and that work in the food service industry, because I've worked in those positions. Now, I was a line cook for a mom and pop restaurant who was making horrible business decisions and ended up closing. I worked for a pizza chain. That was depressing because I felt like there was more to my life than just bussing tables and making pizza dough. And not once have I ever sat in the truck and said, man, I want to go back to that so I could be home every night because I'm making about the same money. And so it's put up or shut up, right? Go flip those burgers if you're not making any money, or if you feel like you can make more money flipping burgers. Some of these big cities where, it's $15, $16 an hour minimum wage. Yeah, look at the cost of living in those places. But it's but here you go, $500 hiring bonus. I hope McDonald's, if you're watching, I want some kickback for promoting your company that people want to work for, because I've talked to and heard a lot of people on YouTube, talk about in the chats and everything else, talk about how they can go flip burgers and make more money. Well, here you go. McDonald's is hiring and they're doing a $500 hiring bonus. And the first time you make a frappuccino with a Happy Meal and a cheeseburger with no onions, you're going to be like, what am I doing with my life? Sean says SFI trucks are not for everyone. That is true. I knew my weaknesses, and you have to be a strong business owner to be able to handle SFI, which I'm so glad to see you succeed. There were some good, Steve Berger, he was a good SFI guy. There's several. We've got a SFI guy here now who's doing all right. So I mean, but it takes a strong person to do that. So, all right. Oh, you guys have been commenting like crazy. You gotta love insurance renewal time. Yeah. Yep. See, flip burgers keep the bread. There you go. Recently celebrated 10 years alcohol free. I couldn't do this today if I was still in the bottle. Hope anyone struggling with it can find their way out. Chief Freight Hauler, yes. We have to have some empathy in those situations. My neighbor used to come over, and I talked about it last Friday. My neighbor used to come over, tell us his grand plans of going to Florida, and that kids he was leaving the house to are going to be good kids, and so far they have been. But then, I had to sit there and watch the coroner pull the body out of the house. That'll sober you up pretty quickly. Shoot, that's more than I get paid in 1 week. McDonald's is the new trucking recruiter. It is. Let's see. I worked at McDonald's when I was 16. It sucked. So Russell can speak from experience, right? I've worked for Burger King. Burger King almost killed me. And then when I met a couple of kids that worked there, and I realized that it was them that probably did, I wanted to create pain for people, but I backed out. I worked 4 years in fast food. It was easily the hardest I've worked my entire life. When you calculate what you make in 70 hours trucking, it's easy to compare wages of fast food. It is. And I get the sentiment, right? But it's the premise, right? A lot of people need to do that math. If you're doing the math that, hey, I can make more money flipping burgers, then why aren't you doing the math of, okay, maybe I could be a company driver and make the same, if not more money, and have less stress because it's tearing up my life. It's tearing up my family. It's tearing up my health. I'm one breakdown away from going under. But instead, it's an angry reactionary thing. And there are weeks when, yeah, McDonald's guy is going to like, hey, do you need some money? There's going to be that. But then there's going to be weeks when they're going to be like, hey, wow, you're making X amount. Wow, I wish I could do that. I've come to the conclusion that working with anyone under 30 is a non-starter. I have delivered to McDonald's. Sage, they teach loading up the bun and putting it in the trailer, i.e. bag, and then delivering it to the window for the unload to the customer. One restaurant in my life, one night, not for me. There you go, Randy. I don't last at Taco Bell with their confusing menu. I always wanted to get McDonald's freight. I believe it was brokered through LXP. I don't know. I've never delivered to a McDonald's. There might have been one time I delivered to a McDonald's DC, but yes, Burger Flipper, you get your 3,500 flips a week. Good morning, drivers. Phoenix traffic sucks, says Twitch. Taco Bell is only 5 ingredients. As soon as that ex-owner op puts more than 2 pickles on a burger, it gets chastised from the manager. They gone, right? Yeah, and some of these folks are only making burger flipping money, but are responsible for buying the fry oil and having to fix their grill. That is true. That is true. So let's talk about that, TC Boggs. So let's say you're the burger flipper at McDonald's. You got your $500 bonus, and they're like, hey, that oil you're using, you got to pay for that. Oh, okay. And then they go, the grill's breaking down and you got to fix that. That's going to come out of your pocket. So make sure you pick a good repairman. And obviously, you're going to pick the cheapest repairman. And then you have nothing left on your check, right? But people sign up for that every single day in the trucking world. So, does McDonald's have a referral bonus? I don't know. I think they advertise themselves, so they probably don't. Ryan says Phoenix should not be a bad place to look around and see mountains in a traffic jam. You got the view versus other towns. That is true. I used to live in Phoenix, so I know. Virgo Life, all the fries you can eat. Yeah, that'll be good for your heart, like in 5 years. I make $600 a day after all expenses. I get PF after every load. Well, $500, that's a game changer. Time free media. Oh, man. Time to lean, time to clean. 90% of truckers would fail that. It is true. They will treat burger joints like trucking companies. It's greener at Wendy's than Burger King than Culver's, right? True. 70% of truckers are too lazy to ever survive a food job. I just want to flip burgers like SpongeBob. Yeah, he's got it pretty easy, don't he? Not a truck driver, fan of truckers. I made a change after hearing multiple concert shows from Shinedown lead singer Brett Smith made awareness to alcohol because he was one. When I worked there, I only made $300 every 2 weeks. Am I crazy and heavy on drinking? But it was definitely a bottle. I haven't had a bottle in almost 4 months. Good deal. Shannon, good morning. I'm hoping that the unskilled labor law is revoked and us company drivers can start making the OT, overtime, OTR. People have been wanting me to talk about that, and I'm not sure what I think about that. Getting listed, it's kind of ironic, right? I learned how to weld through the School of Hard Knocks. I didn't go to any classes. I didn't spend money at any school. And I became a pretty darn good welder. And I will still I have the confidence that I can weld anything that you want, like short of undersea or pipe fitting, but I have some skills. I will brag about that. That's considered a skilled job. But I had no school. Now, there is school for welding. And most of the time, people like, you're a Tulsa welding school person. Okay, well, I'll just have to reteach you a few things. I mean, it's about the environment. But trucking school, they charge you what, 5 to 8 grand to go to school for trucking. Not even trucking, just to get your CDL. And then you got 8 months 8 weeks of training with somebody to learn how to be the trucking aspect of it, and it's not skilled labor. So it's backwards, right? It's well, not backwards, but I mean, welders deserve what they get, and they deserve more. But you got to think about what the average truck driver makes as a company guy, and they're making more than like a lot of police officers, and they go through way more training and way more things than and they're paid salary, so they don't fall under that. And that's what you're going to start seeing. You're going to start seeing salary based companies. That's how that. So that's how that. I think that will be a loophole. I don't know, but I hate talking about stuff I don't know nothing about. I never saw it. I knew that when ELDs were implemented, I knew that could lead a path to that. But guess what? If you're going to get paid for the time that you're sitting at the docks, guess what? You're going to have to log on duty the whole time that you're at the dock. So you deliver a target, now you're driving less miles. So hopefully the overtime will make up for that, right? So Sterling Will, it wasn't that. It was being a cashier too, but moved on to a dishwasher. Bob Evans. Been there, done that. We need burger transparency. Oh, man. Golden State Foods is McDonald's. Okay. It's freaking cold outside. Yes, Randy has said so as well. I was being facetious, using big words on us. Wait, can I at least purchase a McDonald's? You can. You can. You become a franchisee. Fast food kitchens and truck stops are about the same level of cleanliness. That is true. Dying Breed says, congratulations on the sobriety. Remember the rubber down, faith up. There you go. I worked as a delivery driver at Panera Bread, which I also like to call Pantera Bread, and they tried making me cut the meats, but I liked cleaning the dishes, and I said, I'm not cutting that meat, and my pickup truck was stolen, and I was fired. Damn, dude. You kind of had a hard time of it, right? My daughter-in-law works for a McDonald's consulting company in Chicago. She worked on their new restaurant menu, makes 6 figures. Yes, that's where you want to work for a fast food joint. And they just opened some new. They're trying some new, like, I think they're trying to compete with Dunkin' Donuts, like some coffee only with limited things or whatever. It'll be interesting. I spent $5,000 for trucking school back in 2011. I think I was at 33 or 38 back in 2009. So you have to have nerves of steel here. Home of 6 ball trailer tires some days. Yes. Yes, their trailer pull is a bit challenging. Labor laws change and will not change any pay. Companies can always find a way around. There you go. 14,000 at HDS in Tucson. Tolga, good morning. TC says, yeah, it's crazy. You have to obtain a special license, then further endorsements and other credentials, but we are unskilled. At least the McDonald's employee earned overtime. Come on with it. I'm switching to Yokohamas to save dollars. Anyone have experience Yokos? Yes. If you can't get Michelin's, you get Yokohamas. I had Yokohama steers towards the end of this truck's life, or my life with it, and I highly recommend Yokohamas. I like them. I didn't have any bad experiences with them. Sterling says, hope everyone has a great day. Be safe and prudent. Thank you, Sterling. Thank you for being a member. 13 months. Going strong. There's a new law restricting the amount of salary positions. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Walk, respect, you talking to me? No way, punk. Yokohama makes a great tire, a little soft, so you won't see the best tire wear. Trucker named Tim. That overtime law was designed to keep drivers from overworking their clocks. The ELD fixed that, so now they need to pay local drivers what they deserve, in my opinion. Yes, I agree with that. Everybody should get what they deserve. Everybody should get, good or bad. Everybody should get what they deserve, good or bad. Unfortunately, what's fair for the lion is not fair for the gazelle. So, and that's the world we live in, and that's how it's going to be. So you got to find yourself a company that treats you with respect, pays you good, and appreciates you. And I think that there's a lack of I mean, that's why you have a turnover rate. It's not a driver shortage issue, it's a driver retention issue. Scorpion says, have a great day, Sterling. Anybody looking to get into heavy haul? That's a good question. If everyone was paid fair to begin with, there wouldn't be an overtime law. I just want base pay should be good. Should be so, right? Or should be 30. Yeah. I swear by Yokohama, mine are still like new after a year and a half. Michelin just don't last. Michelin's been hit and miss for me. I used to put Michelins on my steers on my Peterbilt, and my Peterbilt had a heavy front axle anyways. And man, I chewed through tires. I got everything fixed. I saw the best specialist here in Springfield. On the front end, had even had the front axle replaced at one point, and still, man, it just chewed through. So I started putting the Goodyears on there. The same ones that Schneider uses, because by that time I was at Schneider and I was like, I'm going to use their tire discount, and those did a lot better. And I did do Michelin on my drives on the Peterbilt because I had super singles. That was the way to go with the super singles, was Michelin. So I'm up for an over-dimensional interview anytime, Steve. We can do that. Not today, but we can do that eventually. The free market system works pretty well. If you're not earning enough or being mistreated, then look elsewhere. There you go. Come on with it. I agree with that. There is Taco Bell if you're not interested in burgers. Yokohama 101 ZL steers, $600 from Walmart. 14.2K max weight, love them. From Walmart? I worked for a company that paid hourly. Half the drivers abused it, making it harder for the drivers that would put in an honest day's work. I know people that are pretty happy doing the salary. So, true. I'd just like to see trucking covered by the same labor laws that literally everyone else benefits from. It's about what is fair, that's not asking too much. That is true. That is true. I'm honest. I try to keep moving. I do my 30-minute in-yard move at the chipper, but I expect to get all 70 hours. Has anyone used Ironman on drives? Thinking about getting all 8 of my drives replaced soon. The best set of drives I had was a set of Generals. That was what that truck came with, and they lasted a long time, especially because of how much I drive. They were good tires. Now, they weren't the best fuel efficient tires. My IFTA gradually got better over the years, but but they were good tires. I delivered milk for 14 years, and I can run circles around most. There you go. Come on with it. How's it going, Snorelord? I'm here in Savannah, Georgia, offloading liquid sugar. I drove almost 1,000 miles one way, and I'm getting paid at that 1,100 round trip as company, but I know I'm leaving money on the table. All righty. Well, you're definitely doing better than if you were flipping burgers. So there you go. I'm off the opinion that everyone should be commission. You're off the opinion that everybody should commission based, or on the opinion. So, all right, let me X this out. Let's get the low board stuff up here. So I was talking to somebody yesterday, and here's the best paying platforms in trucking. That doesn't require special permits. Obviously, over dimensional. We've got all that. That's a given one. Food grade tanker, hazmat tanker, refrigerated pharmaceutical, and refrigerated hazmat. Those are your top paying platforms. That kind of trucking's done differently. There was a time where I looked at being a tank anchor, and in hindsight, I kind of wished I would have done it just for the experience. But I have friends that do it. A guy that I trained in van became the safety director over at a company here in Missouri. He enjoyed it. I know several people that have gone from van to tanker and they love it. You're treated differently at the customers, and they compensate you for it. And that's the thing. If you're just a drive-in guy hauling, bottled water to Walmart, that's going to pay different than someone who's hauling liquid sugar or molasses or, a chemical that if the trailer goes down, they're going to evacuate 2-mile radius. There's a difference there. And so the companies that do those kind of things, they pay differently because they realize that skill needs to be compensated. And if they up the pay to just basic trucking stuff, you're going to have a lot more people coming into the industry, which is kind of what they want. So there's no driver shortage, so they can lower the rates. So there's that aspect too. What's the intention of that overtime pay? And what kind of hardships is it going to put on a lot of companies that have never paid well? It's going to be a dynamic that changes. And it's going to make, and look, I've been saying this for a while. The industry is not going away. Trucking's not dying. It is changing. It is morphing. It is shape shifting. And the things that were true 10 years ago are not true now, and things that are true now will not be true 10 years from now. There's a lot of things at play that are going against the single owner operators. There are a lot of things at play that are affecting small business and small fleets. There's a lot of things at play that is going to give more government control. ELDs, the control of information, the control of the flow of freight, because truckers are the bloodline of this country. And we can't have us having a revolt. We can't have us having a strike, right? The country would be paralyzed, and they know that. And so they're going to do everything that they can to make sure that they have as much control as possible. They want to, and they want their shipping costs down. So anything that they can do, if they can pump a bunch of money into a scenario where people are going to sign up for trucking left and right, how long will they last? We don't know. And that opens the doors for a lot of people coming into the industry that frankly shouldn't be. But man, they'll be great content for bonehead truckers, right? So I mean, there's a lot of dynamics changing. Do I feel that drivers should get their fair share? Absolutely. Yellow got their fair share, and look what happened. So you got to be careful with that. And e-logs and the safety stuff and the insurance companies love profiting off of they love the profit that they get that is not in your best interest. And that's something, integrity is a rare thing in business these days, especially in the trucking world. And that's something that you have to consider. The overtime thing, I think it's a band-aid to a bigger problem. You're of the opinion that everyone should be commission based. Customer service would definitely improve, right? I need a wife as a team driver. Let's go to California every week and back. Any takers? Um, Good luck with that. Earnings are based on performance. Perform better than your peers and you'll stand out. I had a job a while back in my early 20s where I was a contractor. Um, I worked for a company that was contracted to go into Walmart, Kmart. This is how long ago it was. Target, Lowe's to build their bikes, their grills, their riding mowers, take them out of the crate, build them up, build some furniture, and I got paid by the piece. And if there was any damage, then I didn't get paid. So if I could put together 3 bikes an hour, that was a pretty good hourly wage. And a guy that I worked with, he was way faster at it because he'd been building bikes since he was like 5 or something like that. And so some bikes were easier than others. Some like 2 bolts out of the box and you're good to go. But in others, you had to kind of do a little bit more. But anyways, and depending on the kind of bike, it paid more or less. And then the grills the same way. Some grills are put together halfway into the box, and you just kind of flip a few things, and you're good to go. And then others, it was like, um, it's like every bolt had to be put in, and and I enjoyed it because the harder I worked, the more money I made. But the smarter I worked by having things in place and prepping and having an assistant, the more money I made. So Tim says, find me a good load out of Springfield, Missouri this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Oh, that's not too bad. I would look at Joplin. Where are you wanting to go? Best money I ever made was pulling doubles, Max Force. There you go. Again, that's a more specialized thing, right? Dry van. We could take a look. We'll get the load board up here. Let's see. Watching a cop patrol a Walmart DC in Texas back and forth, writing tickets for parking outside next to 100 no parking signs. See, don't provide parking and call in 200 trucks. Brilliant, right? Sage, I'm going to start a hazmat tanker company called Chernobyl Trucking. Any thought? Good luck with that. That's my thought. Michael Cabanis. Good morning. I do food grade, dry, bulk, pneumatic. Things are still pretty good out here. There you go. Got to roll. I'll be listening. Thank you, Steve, for all that you do. Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you, Scorpion. Dying Breed says tank yanking is the best. He's another one that went tank yanking. In fact, I think that if I ever get in a truck as a company driver, I might go do that. So, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So relax, Jeff. It's okay. Best thing is we bypass most lines at shippers and receivers because we are going our own area and doing our own thing. Jackknife TV, good morning. He would benefit by being a tank anchor. I go where the money is. No northeast, west, north, or southeast. Good luck. Well, shoot, we're doing it. Who wants to join for the Snorelord after show? I'll be an update of where I stand and what worked for me and to not only survive but to thrive in this market. There you go. My grandma and grandpa had two direct customers the same every week, haul meat or something to California and produce back in Cali, Wednesday back home, Friday on a bad week, Saturday 2008, 379, Pete and 14 Cat. My dad used to run produce out of Phoenix up to Hunts Point, New York. I used to go with him. And then we would pick up a load of toys out of the ports there in Boston, and then that would go back to Phoenix or California. It was a great run. That was primarily what he did, and he had one broker that he did this with, and it was a great relationship. And then every now and then there wouldn't be a load available, so we would go to the truck stop and look at the dial-a-truck TV screen, and the early version of DAT, and he'd have his pad of paper, and there'd be a line for the payphone, or you would pick a booth to eat dinner and have a phone there. Those were the days, and those days are long gone. The spirit is dead, and trucking has turned into this bastard monster that you are all navigating to this day. Those rates in fuel probably trash now. Probably. Cummins. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm dumb. I don't know my engines. So, all right. So let's share the screen here. Let's get the 123 load board, and let's help Tim find a load out of Springfield today or tomorrow. Let's see. Create new search. Springfield anywhere. We've got it. All right. Do it for today and tomorrow. Apply. Let's see. We got it. Oh, trailer type. I need to put in van. There we go. Search. Let's see what we got here. Bunch of stuff coming out of Springfield. Look at that. All right, so let's go by highest rate, posted rate. There's some good rates on here. Let's look here. Oh, I take that back. Springfield and Nevada. I'm sure you don't want that. Maryland, New Jersey, California, Florida, Maryland. Okay, PA. Sorry. Let's see. Let's go back to his comment here. See what he's looking for. I go where the money is. No Northeast, so that's out. Half these are out. West, North, or Southeast. All right, so this is what you do. This is a lot of choices, right? So here's what we're gonna do. So let's edit search, and we're gonna put in Columbus, Ohio, which is a favorite run of mine. But we're gonna do a 300 mile radius. That way, we'll do a 250, and that'll keep you kind of in the. Well, actually, no. Let's do 500. That eliminates the West Coast, and that will eliminate the Southeast. And I'm not sure if that will kick in like Wisconsin and Michigan. Michigan it will. It'll have a little bit of Northeast, like you got some for PA and North Carolina, South Carolina. There's nothing going to the Midwest. Oh, here we go. Carthage to Findlay, Ohio. Keller Freight, I've worked with them. They're not too bad. Picks up at 11 o'clock today and delivers tomorrow at 4 p.m. Ugh. Well, no, 730 miles. That's not bad. Okay, 42. And then that will stage you for, depending on who the delivery is. Maybe you pick up something Friday morning. Cargo Chief's got it at about 1479. Rate Check's got anywhere from 186 to 204 a mile, 205 a mile. So you're looking at, if you do that in a day and a half, that's, and they're right where the Cargo Chief is. So $14.50 divided by 1.5. That's your daily rate on that. If you could pick up a shorty real quick that afternoon, or if it's a receiver that you know you can deliver early, then that could be a good thing. But this is your load here. Let's see. Valparaiso, Indiana, Springfield, Ohio. There's a few on here. But see, this one I don't understand. $1.86 a mile. Go from probably the Caves and Independence to Springfield, Ohio. So Cargo Chief's got it at about $13.85, 44,000 pounds. So you're going to lose a little bit on your fuel mileage. And then before carriers cut, you're looking at a net of $632 after fuel. So, and then you got West Chicago. So there's a few options. Illinois, Bowling Green, Joliet, St. Louis, Independence, St. Louis. But these are all shorties that are only going to pay, barely $1,000. So, but let's see. Let's look at the posted ages. You got Jefferson City to Tipton, Iowa. But again, you're looking at small numbers here. So you can stay in the Midwest, but your rate per day might be going down. I don't know. Springfield to Forestville, Maryland. Picks up at noon today, delivers at noon tomorrow. I don't think that's accurate because it's 1,055 miles, so that you can't do that. Expedited straight through services. Okay, well, this needs to be a team then. This is a team load, which is probably why it's paying right at the Cargo Chief there. So either someone fell off it or it's a security thing that they need to get it there in one straight shot. Let's see. Alabama, I'd avoid that. So you've got quite a few options here, but look at these posted date. A lot of stuff 8+ hours old. So just be aware. Let's see. I got to jump out and wrap up my delivery back in the truck shortly. Don't find my load till I get back. LOL. Have a good show if you're not still here by the time I get back. Thank you. Michael says, I know that fuel surcharge dropped to 55 cents last week. That's the negative thing about fuel going down is fuel surcharge will go down and then the brokers will go, well, fuel's going down. So the same broker that you said, hey, fuel's up, I need to be higher. They're going to be like, well, fuel's down, so you don't need to be as high. So it goes both ways, right? Before 2008, they had a 99 379 beautiful girl, 2.3 million miles. Sold it to my uncle. He blew the motor. Sold him the 08. He rolled and totaled it. Now he drives a garbage truck. I think they had a Kenworth in the 80s and a cab over for that. That right there is the flatbed pot of gold. When things got bad, I started deadheading to Pittsburgh and eventually Youngstown. Tim says, I heard you, Steve. Thanks for the thoughts on the loads, buddy. There you go. You're welcome. Clinton, Iowa is a very good spot to land. Yes. I remember when team loads paid above the average rate, LOL. Well, those days are gone too, my friend, unless you're doing hazmat or military. Let's see. Let's look at van. Hot market map here. 48065 if you want to try the slow board free for 30 days. 30-day trial. And then there's different programs that you can pick. Let's see. Almond says Nestle in Clinton, Iowa has fun security guards. Watch for Joe on second shift. He will talk your ear off about Hogwarts Legacy. Let's see. Washington is yellowed up here instead of red, or has it been green? I haven't been paying attention. I don't go out here, so California's green. Let's see what kind of rates we can get out of California. So let's sort this by highest rate. Let's see where all the long hauls go into California. Oh, here we go. $44,000, $25 a mile. They go to Concordia, Kansas. I believe that's a typo. So but call them out and said, hey, I will do it for the agreed posted rate. Don't even say what the posted rate is. Just go, hey, I'm calling on this load from Hollister, California to Concordia, Kansas. Where are you empty at? I'm empty in Kansas, but I'm going to deadhead to California for this load. When do you need it picked up? And then they're going to go, wow, okay, it needs to be picked up tomorrow. Okay, I'll make that happen. And then, obviously you're being illegal, but for $44,000, you're like, but I'll do it for the posted rate. I won't even negotiate up. And they're like, okay, cool. What's it posted at? $44,400. Click. So that's how that conversation will go. Or you're going to be that guy that goes, well, can you do 45,000? Can we get up to 47? So anyways, let's look at this more realistic one. Ontario, California to College Park, Georgia, and a second stop in West Palm Beach. This is $6,000. See, look at 2 stops, 2708 on the miles, 36,000 pounds. Not too bad. That comes out to $222 a mile. So, depending on how many days this takes to do, that's your daily rate. California to Pennsylvania, they're not even breaking $2 a mile on the rest of this stuff. Here we go. Bueno Park to New Jersey, 204 a mile, 5,500. And all of you will go, dude, they used to pay like 10 grand 2 years ago. Well, those days are gone. And they may never come back. So not too, I mean, it's California, right? 99.9% of the drivers I dispatch say, dude, don't send me to California. I'm like, okay, okie dokie. Springfield Mafia. Quit trucking for a promising life of crime. I wonder who that is. Good morning, everyone. Like the hit button. Thanks, Steve, for your efforts and insight. Have a great day, all. Thank you with both feet. Already have a 1, 2, 3 local board. There you go. Well, you have 2 or 3 of them learning in the truck, sitting in the fuel line for 45 minutes while they wash their feet. You can afford to pay them nothing. College Park in West Palm Beach sounds like a Costco load, possibly. So you know it's going to go smoothly. Most Costco loads do. Let's take a look at reefer here. Let's see what reefer rates are coming out of Cali. So we'll click on Mr. California here. 6,200 from Los Angeles to Bloomfield, Connecticut. Not much difference on the rates. Maybe about 20%, 10% difference. A lot of it's going northeast. Here's a couple going to Florida. Here, $1.98 to go to Florida. There were some van loads paying $1.98 to go to Florida. It's probably a van load. Let me see here. Reefer or van, one of those deals. Oh, yep, van or reefer. So it's the same load. Coachella to Tully, New York. Pale Rider almost died in Coachella. He could tell you the story on his channel Friday night. Loads to Pennsylvania for 203 a mile, $5,000. So the highest paying load out of California van right now on the 123 low board is, reefer, 6,200 to go from Los Angeles to Connecticut. So let's take a look at that one. Picks up tomorrow. Tomorrow night, 6:45 p.m. And kudos to the broker for posting the dates and times. Thank you very much. Kudos to that. Cargo Chief's got this at about 77, so they're pretty low. Frozen fish, so you're going to burn through more reefer fuel. The weight on that's 34.5, so not too bad. Let's take a look at tolls. Tolls are going to be about $150. And then you're after fuel before carriers cut, you're looking at a profit of $1.15 a mile, or 33.32 divided by however many days that is. What is that? Let's see, what's the schedule? 14th to the 20th. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 33.32 divided by 7 days. There's your rate. I'm operating a track hoe and pulling a low boy, pretty much salaried with a couple of perks, lots of unpaid hours as usual. In reality, it's $444. Cool trucking. Good morning, but how you doing? How's retirement? Your beard's getting up there, man. What's your beard length going at now? All right, so let's take this out. Let's take somewhere. Let's take a look at somewhere. Let's take a load. Let's go back to California, but let's take a look at the inbound and what they're paying. Click on inbound. Highest paying load going into California is $4,300 from New Hampshire, and it's paying $1.40 a mile. So let's say you're a coast to coast kind of guy, but you live in the Northeast. So you start in New Hampshire, you do this load out to California, and then you come back. So what was it? $6,000 to go and $5,000 or 43 to come back. So there's in the amount of miles, you probably got a 34 in there. So your daily rate. So that's the money you're looking at. So seeing Ashley Furniture delivering food to McLean yesterday. I think they weren't hauling it for no $2 a mile. Yeah, they were doing a back haul, so who knows? Who knows what they were making? Did you go up and ask Ashley? Did you go, "Hey, I noticed that you're not hauling furniture. Do you know what you got paid for this?" And if they go, "I don't know. I just do what I told." Well, if they're a company driver, of course that's what they're going to say. My coffee's gone cold. Dang it. Cool truck and recovering from foot surgery. Oh, man. Well, thoughts and prayers to you, my friend. What'd you do? Shoot yourself in the foot? Did you do something silly? Haven't looked at Cali outbound in a while, but brokers are still trying to push Cali inbound at $1.20. I thought Cali might have been still at $3. That's the thing with a lot of these analytics, right? Is that there's a point, like for example, Texas goes through this quite a bit during watermelon season, or Florida too. If the market where the load is going is doing really good, a lot of them will push for less money to go into that market. But then there's that transition period where the loads coming out of that market are not that great anymore. And so there's less loads. And so now you're not making money going in or out. And I believe that's what California's going through right now. I remember when you were making $7, $8, $9, $10,000 come out of California and ban. Dude, they were paying like you said, $1.20 a mile to go in. But when you did the overall rate on both loads, it came out pretty good. So your daily rate was pretty decent on that. So that's something that it's annoying. Sometimes when I look at them, like for example, if you look here, this is reefer, Arizona's green. Let's take a look at loads coming out. $2.18 a mile, $1.97, $2.20. Let's do the highest rate per mile. Phoenix to Albuquerque, $3.42 a mile, $1,600, but you're not getting anything coming out of Albuquerque that I know of, unless you're doing pumpkins, which are probably not in season right now. Tucson, Aurora, okay, we go in the dead areas, but so not bad on the rates coming in, but that's more of the shorter stuff. Yuma to Pennsylvania, 220 a mile, 4,800. But then let's look at the inbound to Arizona. What are they paying? $3 a mile to come out of California. But then Arizona and California, it's always cheap. So, I mean, they're getting it one way or another. So you just got to look at your overall number, it's hard to stay in a good area that's consistent both directions. sort this by highest rate. So your highest paying load out of Arizona is Yuma to Philly for 5,600, 218 a mile. Then your highest paying load into Arizona is 217 a mile. So there's your mileage there. 3,900 to go from Chicago to Arizona. Here's a Pennsylvania to Tolleson. To go with the other Pennsylvania load. $1.58 a mile, 3,700. And like I've said, if you go to Florida, you have no choice, right? If you live in Florida, you're going to come out of there. It's a backhaul market. So these people that go, well, stay in the green states. Well, sometimes that's not possible. Let's say you're a carrier that pays your driver by the mile, but you're still doing spot freight. Guess what? To give them some miles, you can't give them these 200-mile loads that's, um, you know, paying $600, $800. You can't do that because the driver won't make any money. And what do drivers do when they don't make money? They leave. They go to McDonald's with their hiring bonus. So, diabetic complications, man. I'm sorry about that, Bill. Prayers to you, my friend. I know people have gone through that, so hopefully you'll be all right, man. The hypothetical Connecticut to California load, the guy is only making $1.60 a mile for all miles, then maybe less depending on where he's going. What's he making per day though, Jackknife? Florida, that's why it paid going in, right? But I mean, I would go down to Florida if I wanted a quick pay. Like, Jeff pays after every load. So one of the best loads I ever did was I did 4,200 from Springfield to Jacksonville, and it was like 10,000 pounds. It was so great. But then my truck said, yeah, my fuel pump sucks, so we're taking that out. And so I lost a day, and I forget I think the repair was about $2,000. I can't remember. So there goes half my money, right? So it's the nature of owning a business. It's the nature of being an entrepreneur. It's the nature of what you do. And there are times when, yeah, McDonald's worker is going to make more money than you. But then there are also times that you're going to go, man, I'm grateful that I'm in charge of my business and I can make adjustments if needed. And if you're in a business where you can't make adjustments, then that's a problem. And you have to address it. I pulled a load from Florida to Kentucky 2 weeks ago for $250. It was a great load. There you go. Cool trucking. If you're wanting a West Coast loop, start in LA, go to Northwest, the Salt Lake City or Phoenix, then back to LA. There you go. There's a certain way that you run this West Coast stuff. The way I look at it is you run this region, or you run this region, or you run this region. I primarily kept my truck between I-35 and I-77. And then I kept it around, I'd flirt with Wisconsin, but pretty much I-90 to I-30, I-20 maybe. And just knowing your markets, a lot of people gripe about these rate check tools. I'm going to ask for what I need. That's great. And you should know your worth. But if you're asking for $3 and $1.25 a mile market, you're not going to move very quickly. And you have to have the knowledge to that. So when I look at Cargo Chief, when I look at these rate checks, I'm seeing what the difference is on that market. I'm not looking to be at that exact number. And I get the 30-day average on DAT, and it's not the most accurate, but I at least have an idea. And for somebody that's new to spot market, they may not know that Denver sucks coming out. They may not know that, hey, I've got this great pay and load to Pennsylvania. I wonder why. And then when they look at the low board, when they get to Pennsylvania, they're like, holy crap, that was why. So I mean, you gotta know. And these tools are helping to give you knowledge to figure out what you want to do, what your plan is from there. A lot of these tools, like this map right here, is useless if you're not an anytime, anywhere kind of person. Let's say I'm only going between Missouri and Ohio because that's how I used to run. Well, then I don't care if the Arizona market's up. I don't care if Texas is doing okay. I don't care if Oregon sucks. I'm gonna, if the lane average changes between Southwest Missouri and Ohio, then I'm at the mercy of that market. So that's kind of how I look at that. I have people that say, "Hey, I need you to dispatch me." Well, what do you need? Well, I need to be home every other night. Where do you live? Denver, Colorado. Well, that's going to be a problem. So, that kind of thing. And they may not know it, so I don't chastise them. I don't make fun of them. I was like, well, it's going to be a challenge, and here's why. And then I can go to these tools and show them. I have yet to get my New York tag, not getting them until I require them as a carrier. There you go. 48-step Reno to any. Any. Where's any at? All right. Find loads. So what we do is we go to create new search. Reno, because we love gambling. And going anywhere. And trailer type, we will put step deck, and then I believe click on this, and we want those. Let's do 48. There we go. Search. Probably not much. Oh, I digress. Not too bad. Highest pay and load is posted. $4,600 to go from California to Pennsylvania. That's worse than van. And see, truckload, Sureway Transportation, and they're above the average, so that hasn't paid well for a while. Pittsburgh to Stansfield, Arizona. Now I say well. That might pay well for you. I don't know. But for me, looking at costs, I don't know if that's profitable or not. California, Arizona, we've proven that that's a good lane, regardless of the platform. And then there's Nevada to California, Rapid City, South Dakota. So not too much. So there you go. There's your Reno to anywhere for today and tomorrow. T-Bone, what's up? Good morning. Probably make about $800 a day, tolls and fuel. That includes the 34. Springfield says, I let my wife dispatch me. That way I know I'll get some on home time. Any loads out of Springfield to Hawaii? I need a vacation. With overcapacity and the economy changing so quickly, you got to be able to almost run anywhere unless you have a locked-in dedicated customer. Even a dedicated customer can disappear really fast. Nothing's written in stone anymore. If somebody sees a way to save money, they'll take it. Sureway belongs to ATS to start with. Yep. So, anyways, you can take this load, Vacayville, California to East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at that load. Let's see what the tolls are on this. See what the fuel is. Picks up today at 12. Cargo Chiefs got it at about 53, so they're kind of way below that. 45,000 pounds, flatbed or step deck, legal flatter step, 6-foot tarps, tracking required. Ask for Heather. And you're looking at about 67 cents a mile profit after fuel. Before carrier's cut, you're looking at 1871. So let's throw in this 20%. Let's say you're at a company with 85%. So you're 15%. We call it dispatch fee, but whatever. So your fuel, after fuel and your carrier's cut and tolls, $129 in tolls, you're looking at $11.81. So let's divide this number by day. So let's say you do 650 miles a day because you're a badass and you like the speed. So let's do 2774 divided by 650. That's 4.5 days. 4.25, but we'll call it 4.5. So we take this net of 1181 divided by 4.5. That's $262.44 after fuel and your carrier's cut a day. So do with that what you will. Everything else looks good. Broker, 99, credit score A, Thunder approved. So you're good to go there. So but you're literally going from the most expensive fuel state to another expensive fuel state. So you gotta have a good app and good fuel planning to kind of minimize that. Even dedicated customers are hurting now. My dedicated fall run was 47,000 last year, 16K this year. Wow. Hey, I do 660 a day run at 63 miles an hour. There you go. I think my highest I've done in a 65 mile per hour governed truck was 710 miles, I think. And that's literally from a rest area to a rest area with one fuel stop. And that was back before the 30-minute break stuff. So I know how to keep the left door closed on long runs. And it was out west, of course. You're not doing that in the Northeast. So cheap rate hauler. I finished my 2-stop 100-mile run yesterday at like 11 a.m. and asked for a load, and they had nothing for me. It's going to get skinny there for you, Jackknife. They just gave me a Battleboro, Connecticut load because somebody had truck problems. So, speaking of step deck, let's go back to load availability and take a look at what flatbed and step is doing. Flatbed, step deck. Apply. Upper Northwest doing all right. It's green. Southeast, of course. But look at Missouri and Iowa. Say, we're out. So you're looking at not the best market, but it is going into wintertime, which is kind of usually a slow time for flatbed step deck. So what you're telling me is California, Pennsylvania pays $20 per driving hour. Wow. There you go. You could divide that by the hour, right? You can divide that by the hour. You can divide any number by the hour. So, but anyways, I'm going to get off of here. Strength for today, over tomorrow. I hope, look, do your best. If you want to go flip burgers, there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe fix your business first. Maybe fix some other things before you decide to go that route. But they'll be happy to have you. So, with that being said, thanks for watching. We'll see you Friday morning. Strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Aggression turns to screws. Bang your head. Don't be an ass. Peace.